Okay, so here we are with Chucky Souza and Malama at my house in Lihue, and I wanted to talk about the number 6 track on your album, Lava in Their Soul. It's called Na Mamo. So just tell me a little bit about that track.
Well, in doing my own genealogy for our family, it kind of made me interested, in finding out more and more and more. And there are other things that, kind of our ancestors did, and not in the distant past, but 100 years ago, and around the overthrow and everything. And you start to find out more about your family, you start to get more interested in, what it is to, be part of this whole legacy and continuation of, this whole culture. And so the song really became about, looking and finding your own genealogy. I understand that there are people who are Hanai and people who don't know how to do that, and sometimes they're embarrassed, but nevertheless, you still, have a line of family that led to you, and so find out who they were and where they were from. And I think it gives you a little bit more sense of identity and where we're from, and that's part of the bigger picture. It's just a simple, fun song, and I think it sort of gives a powerful message, and leaves it, in a way at the end where it's sort of, you feel the power of, it's all going to be gone. That's really what it means at the end. Find out before it all goes.
Thanks. Do you have anything else that you want to add about this track or what we've been talking about?
Well, I think it's important to realize the time and the context that these songs were created, because they weren't all created last week or last month. I've been writing songs since I was 14 years old, and that goes back, 50 years. And so, as we have come forward, incidents and events and milestones in our whole history have been important points for all of us, as in our identity. And I think these songs are sort of reflective of those times and those events and those milestones, if you want to call them, in our history. And so the songs weren't just written last week, and but they were written at the time when these happened. So I have songs that were written when we marched down to the palace, when we stood up and stood for sovereignty, and when we realized, our families' names were on the petition to, against annexation. So, all these events, I think, were important milestones for all of us as Hawaiians, and I just happen to be a songwriter, so I chronicled these times and events through songs. And so these songs really go back 50 years and come forward in that whole time. So it's important to know that these songs were created at a certain time, and the context in which they were created are relevant to what the lyrics and the music is about.
Thanks. We'll talk again next week.
I hope so.